Hello everyone, my name is Makeda Voletta, also known as the Body Scientist, and just in case you don't know me, I have a background in exercise and nutritional sciences and also in the biological sciences. Before I earned my degree in exercise and sports science and nutrition science in 2003, I was a biotechnology major, and my real desire and passion was to research cures for genetic diseases. Okay, and so as a biology major, we're studying all living things, the study of all living things. So not just humans, also microorganisms, plants, other life forms. And so we spent a lot of time taking microbiology and molecular biology and organic chemistry, biochemistry. Also, prior to becoming, involved in the health sciences, I was involved in sexuality education. I'm also a sacred sexual educator, but I've been involved in sexuality education since I was in high school, junior high school. So with that being said, the combination of health sciences and sacred sexuality, I talk about this stuff a lot, and you can check out my other videos on YouTube, and I'm also going to put some below which will also help you understand this video. In this video, I'm going to be talking about condoms, okay? How toxic they can be, why they can be an issue, and better natural alternatives, okay? So, number one, I would like to say that, when we have sex ed in this country, what it is this is a penis, this is a vagina, this is sperm, this is an egg, this is a baby, and then they show you god-awful pictures of all the awful diseases that you can get to scare the shit out of you, and they tell you don't have sex until you get married. Then you have religion. Most people are raised religious, and religious is also preaching sexual shame. And these so-called STDs, herpes, syphilis, gonorrhea, all these things, they've been around since before humans, okay? They've been around since before us. And human species has been having sex for hundreds of thousands of years on this planet. And there was not an epidemic of so-called STDs. And I say so-called because the STDs, the things that, fit into that category, those infections can also be gotten without having sex. They're contact. They involve contact. And so why all of a sudden, I remember asking myself, has it become an epidemic in the past 35 years? I mean, I remember my aunt, when I was in my 20s, my early 20s, one of my aunts who was in her 60s, told me, she was like, I feel really sorry for your generation, because when I was your age, we didn't have those worries. Our biggest worry was getting pregnant, Yes, syphilis and gonorrhea and those things existed, but hardly anybody had them. Now it's like epidemic proportions. So the scientific mind that I have, I always ask myself, why? Okay? Why all of a sudden all these diseases an epidemic? And it can't be because people aren't using condoms when we've been having sex for hundreds of thousands of years without them. Now, in sex ed, we never get taught about the healing properties of sex. Like, the healing properties, there's many healing properties and beneficial properties to sexual intercourse, sexual connections, and whether it be with a partner or by ourselves. There's a lot that's very important for our mental, spiritual, and physical health. And that's never taught. That's never taught at all. And so when we talk about, I did have a YouTube video about, vaginal health and natural spermicides that got deleted off of my other YouTube page. But I will be going over some of this here. And then I also have a video on probiotics and intestinal dysbiosis, which I'll put below. And another video called Safe Sex, and another one on, actually, you could say this is like part 2 of the Safe Sex video that I did a couple years ago. So I'll put that below as well. And then I have another one on yoni steaming, which are also known as Bajos, which is like, herbally taking in herbal medicine vaginally. So I suggest looking at those videos too. Now, with that being said, I remember, years ago myself feeling like I had rug burn in my vagina after using condoms, and other women I started thinking to myself, this can't be the thing that helps to prevent stuff when my insides feels like it's burning. Like, that's not, when your body feels like it's burning, that's not a good sign, you know. And I started researching like the chemicals that are on condoms, you know, the lubricants and the spermicides, and they actually, if you look at the chemicals and you look them up, they actually cause lesions in the vagina. They're cancer related, and our vaginal muscles are very absorbent. That is absorb. Our skin is absorbent, period. Like, if you can't put something on your skin, it should not be on, you should not eat it. It should not be in your body at all. Things get into your blood and into your body a lot easier through your skin than through even orally ingesting it. And the skin in the vaginal walls is more absorbent than the rest of the skin in our body, so it's just absorbing. So think about putting some chemicals into your vaginal canal that cause ovarian cancer and uterine cancer and open lesions and pussy lesions. Like, that doesn't sound like a very good idea. And then latex, you know. A lot of scientists use latex gloves all the time, end up with a latex allergy as well, you know. So latex is not something that should be inside of our bodies. Now, when we think about infectious disease is an infectious disease. It doesn't matter if it affects your nose, your eye, your vagina, or your fucking foot. A virus is a virus, and a bacteria strain is a bacterial strain, and they all have requirements for life, okay? Just like we do as humans. We can't go jump in the ocean and say, oh, I'm going to live in the ocean, because we will suffocate and die. Even though there is life in the ocean, there is oxygen in the ocean, hence H2O. But it's not the right percentage that we need, so we would suffocate and die. And the organisms in the ocean, if they came and tried to live in your house, they would suffocate and die, okay? So we have life on the earth, but the life forms in the sea would die, and vice versa, because we have certain requirements for life. The same is true with plants. You know, you have plants that grow in the desert. If you put them in the rainforest, there'd be too much water, they would die, and vice versa, okay? So all living organisms have requirements for life. That's number one. So nobody ever makes you sick. We're always being exposed to infectious disease. From the air we breathe, the food we eat, you know, the water we drink, people coughing in your face. We're always being exposed to infectious disease. Unless you're going to walk around in a latex suit, put a latex mask on, you know, put latex down your throat so when you eat you won't get food poisoning. That's not the way that you prevent infections, you know. Actually, to build a strong immune system, when you're naturally exposed to things, that's what builds your immune system. That's the whole idea of a vaccine. They understand that, you know, your body creates antibodies. So in order to build your immunity, they inject a percentage of that, you know, virus or bacteria into your body, so your body will create antibodies. The problem is that with vaccines, they put other toxic fillers in it that are neurotoxic and linked to other problems. If you live life naturally and you're exposed to things, that's how that happens, okay? However, you can be exposed to things and not get infected, and that has to do with your own microecosystem. Like I was saying, everything has requirements for life. So in our gut, we have a microecosystem. We have good bacteria and we have bad bacteria. Good bacteria and bad bacteria cannot survive in the same environment, and I speak about this more in depth in my Intestinal Dysbiosis Probiotics video, which I put below. So you have good bacteria that produce oxygen, like hydrogen peroxide producing bacteria that produce oxygen. You know, they may need, some bacteria need an alkaline environment, some need an acidic environment. Like the bacteria in our vaginal canal need acid. You know, our vaginal canal is very acidic. And so when you have a lot of oxygen producing bacteria that need oxygen to survive, when anaerobic bacteria, which are bacteria that cannot thrive in the presence of oxygen, which means they die in the presence of oxygen, if you have a lot of oxygen producing bacteria in your gut and then you're exposed to a nasty organism that cannot survive in the presence of oxygen, that organism will automatically die. Just like you will automatically die if you just go jump in the ocean with no gear and fucking try to live there, okay? So, our first line of defense against all infectious disease is good bacteria in our gut. That's number one, okay? Like I can't remember last time I had a cold. I've been around people with colds, flus, coughing, drank off them, never got sick. You know, if I got sick, that would mean that my microecosystem is already off balance. It's already welcoming to that disease-causing organism, so that now when I get infected by it, it takes root and it thrives there, because my own microecosystem was already an anaerobic environment and the type of environment that disease-causing organism needed. When we have a lot of bad bacteria in our gut, we crave a lot of sugar. Sugar feeds bad bacteria and disease-causing organisms and viruses. And that bad bacteria kind of takes over, so that if you're trying to fight a sugar craving and you have intestinal dysbiosis, which is an imbalance of bacteria, it's like you can't overcome those cravings for sugar because that bad bacteria is taking over and creating hormones and chemicals to make you crave it. It creates hormones and chemicals that break down your immune system. So the good bacteria, number one, okay? Then there are lots of natural things that have been shown in laboratories, confirmed over and over again, to kill disease-causing organisms, so-called STDs, and sperm. Things such as aloe vera. Aloe vera is it has been shown in laboratory studies to kill the HIV virus. And it is also very good for women's vaginal health. It can be used as a lubricant because it's sticky and slick, but eventually it dries up, so that's the only thing. But it's very good to protect against STDs, and it's also been used as a spermicide as well. Aloe vera, straight aloe vera. Then you have coconut oil. Coconut oil is extremely antiviral and antibacterial. Coconut oil is an excellent lubricant as well. Like you can cover your dick in coconut oil, before penetrating a woman. A woman, you can cover his penis in coconut oil, and that helps. That gives an extra antiviral, antimicrobial layer, okay, before doing anything. Then we have lemon juice. Lemon juice has been shown to kill viruses, to kill the HIV virus, and it's a very good spermicide. It kills sperm too because it's so acidic. And so a woman can take lemon juice or some apple cider vinegar, dilute it with a little bit of water, get a syringe and squirt some inside her vagina. And to keep the vaginal canal nice and acidic, if your male partner is ejaculating inside of you too much, that can create an alkaline environment inside the vaginal canal, which opens us up to more infections. So as women, we want to make sure our vaginal canal stays acidic. So thus far, we have aloe vera, we have lemon juice, and we have coconut oil, right? We have apple cider vinegar as well. And then there are lots of herbs that have been used as well. So I talk about, yoni steaming and vaginal steaming. A lot of the herbs are antimicrobial, and if you're using certain herbs like oregano and rosemary and sage, and then we have ones like golden seal, which is really good for killing infections, eucalyptus, and I think I said oregano, basil. There is a root called sarsaparilla, which is very good for killing infections, sexually transmitted infections. So as a woman, yoni steaming with herbs that are antimicrobial and that are known to kill certain viruses and bacteria, which talking to the camera kind of makes me go blank a little bit. So whatever I'm not saying, I'm going to write below on my YouTube video, and I'll also put on my blog when I finally get it up. But just read things below that I've written too, because I'll add the extra notes down there. So yoni steaming with those herbs too, to get them deep inside of your vaginal canal, deep up in your uterus, to help kill or prevent any type of infections, okay? And then we have there are natural herbs that women have used for a long time, and I suggest speaking to an herbalist, because I study herbs, but I'm not an herbalist, so I don't give herbal recommendations, but I suggest working with a very good herbalist. And one herbalist who I do work with and recommend is Pakazani from Indigenous Mama. A lot of you who follow me probably know her because I've studied with her a lot the past couple of years. And she also does a workshop on herbs for sexually transmitted infections. She does a whole workshop on that. But also, the good bacteria that's in your gut, if you have that good bacteria in your gut, that's number one also with preventing sexually transmitted infections. Now, vaginally, a woman, if you are having an infection, is going to prevent them. You can put raw grass-fed yogurt, no flavors in it, just raw grass-fed yogurt inside your vagina to maintain that bacterial balance. Okay. So also, when we think about it, condoms don't cover the entire penis, right? So if I'm holding the camera with my other hand, so I can't release my other hand. But let's say this is a phallus, and let's say the condom stops right here where my finger is. Let's say we're right here where I'm touching. Right, let's say the condom stops right there. Vaginal fluid still gets on the other part of the penis. Vaginal fluids might still get on his balls. I don't know any man that's ever gone down a woman with dental dam, ever. Or any woman that's ever used dental dam to go down on someone. And I personally, going down on a man or woman, like, I'm not convinced that sucking on latex is actually better for my health. You're sucking on latex that should not be inside of our body, and that's then coated with chemicals to make it whatever flavor or color or this and that. Highly toxic, okay? It also cuts all the beneficial health properties that we get from sexual contact, okay? And then, condoms dry women's vaginal canal out. When we are dry, that opens up to more infections, okay? Then you have this, then people will use water-based lubricant, and people use that as if it's, water. No, what water-based lubricant is a bunch of toxic chemicals in water. It is not good, okay? I suggest that, I'm putting things below, but I suggest that you do your own research and use your critical thinking skills, because we have been told that condoms are the only way to protect ourselves from getting infections. But let's remember that all these infections have existed since the beginning of time, since before humans, and it's only become epidemic in the past 35 years. I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that everything is sterilized and pasteurized now. So we no longer get inoculated with this good bacteria anymore. And I talk about that in my Probiotics and Intestinal Dysbiosis video. So all infectious diseases are on the rise, all of them. All infectious diseases are on the rise. All autoimmune diseases, like 15 years ago, nobody knew what lupus was. Now lupus is common. Vitiligo, 15 years ago, people thought Michael Jackson was lying when he said he had an autoimmune disease that's making him lose his skin color. Now you see it, models have it, professional dancers have it. I see vitiligo every day. Graves' disease, all these things are becoming more and more common, these autoimmune diseases. Then genetic diseases such as cancer. Cancer is tied with heart disease, which is a degenerative disease, with number one death, and the number one cause of death, and the fastest growing rate of cancer is in children. Okay, so we have to ask ourselves, why is that? And as somebody who has a background in the nutritional sciences and has studied physiology a lot, I understand that the modern foods is the problem. It's the reason why all these things have gone up, including autoimmune diseases. Eating too much damn wheat, too much sugar. Sugar feeds infectious diseases. Sugar feeds cancer cells, okay? Sugar's the devil. Also, not, having an imbalance of good bacteria. Like, if you're not purposely eating fermented foods, which we all should be eating fermented foods every single day, and if you're not purposely taking a high dosage of probiotics, and the only brand that I recommend that I have ever seen, I've seen every brand there possibly is to see. The only brand that I recommend that is really good is a brand called Garden of Life, because he has the homeostatic soil organisms, and those are hydrogen peroxide producing bacteria. Hydrogen peroxide, oxygen, has been shown over and over again in studies to kill all the infectious diseases, and that includes lipid-contained viruses such as HIV. Okay, and HIV and HPV, which are lipid-contained, and herpes, lipid-contained viruses, which we are told but there's no cure for, and you ever take a drug for the rest of your life. And I'm going to get too much into this because I'm not trying to have people come after me. I already have enough problems. But I have worked with clients one-on-one with healing and recovering from certain conditions. Let me just say that. So, and I'll put some studies below, because a lot of things, like I said, that has demonstrated in laboratory studies that kills the HIV virus and other STDs. Another thing is grapefruit seed extracts. Grapefruit fruit seed extract is another thing. So you can take that, you can dilute it in some water. You can put like 15 drops of it in some water, some green tea, and drink that. You can dilute it in some water in a syringe. Like take some water, dilute it with some apple cider vinegar and lemon juice, and squirt that into your vaginal canal. But for the men, drinking it, for the men, taking the probiotics, for the men, covering your phallus in lemon juice, or covering your phallus with coconut oil, aloe vera, all of those antimicrobial natural spermicides, okay? And of course, getting tested, to be up to date on what's going on. But if you ever found out that you had any type of infection, there are a lot of natural ways to go about healing it. Number one, first and foremost, is to OD on probiotics. Eating fermented foods, very high dosage of probiotics. When I say high dosage, I mean like, 200 billion, 300 billion a day of probiotics. And take a look at my probiotics video so you can understand better. But you can't OD on probiotics. If you have any kind of infection in your body, any kind, you need to take as many probiotics as possible. And if you have a history of taking antibiotics for any reason, just remember, every time you take antibiotics, it destroys your gut flora. It kills all the good bacteria, which is helping you, and it causes the bad bacteria to mutate. And it really damages your bacterial flora for a long time. Also, so does birth control pills. So if you've ever taken a round of antibiotics, and the more of it you've taken, the more you need to just OD on probiotics. Like if you know right now that you've taken antibiotics in the past few years, you've taken it a few times in your life, I always tell people for like at least a year, depending on what the person is dealing with, and I deal with people as individuals, but for at least a year, you need to be ODing on probiotics every single day. Okay? So, extremely important. But it's time that we use our critical thinking skills. It's like people are so afraid of speaking up. But I mean, I know, working in the realm of sexuality, I hear so many women have conversations about how condoms make your insides fucking burn, okay? And to me, like, I remember, I thought, like, there's no way this could be a good thing when I feel like I have rug burn in my vagina. Like, this is supposed to be preventing infections and preventing issues, but then, the insides of your vagina is burning for 3 days, And a lot of scientists get latex allergies from putting latex on their body. And if you look at the condom packages, all these warnings, it says on there that it's not meant for sex more than twice a day or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck is that? Then how is that okay? How is that healthy? You could put lemon juice on your dick or in your vagina all day long. You could drink the shit all day long. You could put aloe vera on you as many times as you want. Coconut oil as many times as you want. All the things that I've said, And women, vaginal steams I highly recommend, and also drinking herbal teas. But for men can also, you never want to steam your balls because they need to stay cool. But men can make like sitz teas with herbs and soak your penis in it, okay? So these are, I'm trying to think if there's anything else I need to say, but these are some examples of some things that you can do to naturally prevent getting sexually transmitted infections and natural spermicides, okay? Just remember that people have been having sex, our species have been having sex for hundreds of thousands of years, and we know how to control fertility, and we know how not to get infections, okay? And so this video is 23 minutes, and I can't remember if there's anything that I wanted to say that I didn't say, but I will include some extra notes on the bottom. I hope you find this video helpful. I suggest you do your own research, use your critical thinking skills. And if you like this video, please join my YouTube page and share the video. I hope this was helpful to some of you. And thanks, people. Bye.